Hey everybody, I'm Jack, and this is Raw Tropical Living. Thanks for joining me today. Well, as you can see, I'm not in my normal spot. I'm down in Pensacola, Florida, and this is like my favorite little Airbnb, or my new favorite Airbnb. I've stayed in some nice ones down here, but I gotta tell you, this one is really nice. It's nothing super fancy, it's just the details. The bed's super comfortable. Oh, and there's two little doggies here that I enjoy hanging out with. Just the nicest dogs in the world. They just very polite when you walk in the door. They don't, they greet you and then they do their thing. I haven't even heard them bark. But anyhow, didn't really have that much planned for today, so I just thought I'd talk about making things happen versus allowing things to happen. Guys, I do videos every day, so if you haven't already subscribed to the channel, go down there and hit that subscribe button, then click on the little bell and check send notifications so you'll stay subscribed to the channel. Yeah, it's been a good day. Just been running around trying to find some new cool stuff to tie-dye on. I was looking for some people to give some shirts to, hopefully in exchange for pictures, but I'm just not seeing a lot of potential out there today. But maybe tomorrow I'm going to play around in Pensacola a little bit and get a few things done. I've got errands to do before I go back home. But yeah, I've been thinking about this one last weekend, like I don't remember one Friday or Saturday night. And I just got to thinking about this, how the process for me anyhow is a lot different than it used to be. And how you always hear people using this phrase, we got to make something happen, or it's about making it happen. And that used to it didn't work that well for me, because especially if I was doing business or if it was something I really needed to be done. And a lot of times it wasn't a matter of I might be right and the person might be dragging their feet, but or it might just be any situation that was slowing down what I wanted to happen and caused me frustration. Well, back then it was like I was always applying pressure. Come on, you got to do this, you got to do this. And I would even do it to my detriment sometimes. I could tell I didn't know how to finesse a situation. Well, when you're a drunk, you don't know how to finesse very much. There's not a whole lot of delicate when you're a drunk. You're just like, I want it now. I mean, I had a couple of businesses, and yeah, I was usually right, but I would scream. I was a screamer sometimes. But anyhow, I've just noticed, and this kind of goes into a little bit of philosophy that I have about life, and like allowing things to happen. Now, when I talk about allowing things to happen or letting things happen versus making things happen, it's not a passive thing. So don't go saying like, well, you can't just sit back and meditate and hope things happen. No. You always, no matter what in life, you've got to put in the work, or you have to put in the sincere, time, effort, desire, whatever to get there. But so many people, I think, push too hard. They apply too much pressure to a situation, and it just ends up backfiring on them. And I've just seen, I work through situations very slowly now. Sometimes I'm not very impulsive. I try not to react. And I'm still very demonstrative, like today in traffic. If you were in my car, you'd think I was a psycho, but I express stuff. I noticed when I was in Europe, people are more expressive over there. You'd see people, at first I thought they were going to get in a fight on the streets in France because they were talking so back and forth. They were just loud, kind of like me. Just because I express myself sometimes, and usually it's when I'm by myself, or I might be just like swearing up a storm in the car, I let that stuff go, and that's not serious. But when I'm talking about allowing things to happen, is I've had situations like that since I've been sober, and since I've been, starting to do these businesses, these retail online things. I can be impatient. But I'm learning now, and I made a post the other day on Facebook about, or no, I think I said it on Instagram, about not being impulsive. Just always, most of the time, you hurt yourself when you're just too impulsive, or when you act on emotion. You're mad about something. Somebody didn't meet a deadline. Somebody didn't bring something that they were supposed to. Somebody didn't do something. And, you're right. You're probably right. You can be right in the situation, but it doesn't necessarily solve the situation or get you what you want by going with emotion. So anytime now, if I even get remotely mad, or if I'm about to respond to something and it's kind of like, okay, how is somebody going to take this? Or if I'm frustrated with how something's going, business wise, or with somebody else outside of me that I can't control, I can be like, all right, when are they going? Okay, I need to get this done. But I've just kind of found like a lot of times, and it's played out in probably a few situations in just the last couple of months or so, like things that I was like, okay, don't stress about this, don't even be anxious about this. I'm kind of feeling impatient, but it's not going to help for me to put too much pressure on the situation. So I would just, kind of like, okay, well, it's not really in my control. So I just kind of sit back and be patient, and it works itself out. And I think back and I'm thinking like, now I wasn't going to say something nasty, or I'm not ever thinking in sending out a nasty email or responding in a nasty way, but it would have probably been a little bit more aggressive, and it would have probably been counter to what I was doing. So I saw, okay, I expressed a little patience, I stepped back, and it worked itself out, and I got what I needed. Once again, not a passive process. It's just about, being overbearing, trying too hard, putting too much pressure on things. What I call letting things happen, allowing things to happen, and some people will probably think, well, that's getting a little into the woo-woo, but it's really not, because it's quantum physics. For me, I talk about lately, like, and I'm not there yet, but I'm getting closer. Like, I drop into the flow sometimes, and when I'm in the flow, things just start happening. It's like my bananas I'm always talking about. Like, it's just like things just start showing up. I'm in the flow. I'm not stressing. I'm not, uptight. I'm just letting things happen in their natural pace. And what I'm finding here, for me, what do I mean by the flow? Now, the flow to me, you might take it, you might be, well, he's talking about this or he's talking about that. To me, the flow is a little mixture of the law of attraction, which I still haven't read yet. I had a bad taste in my mouth with that whole thing for a while, because it was kind of taken over by the hippies and made a little too woo-woo and a little too hippie-ish, when it's basically the law of attraction is quantum physics. I mean, that's it. But it's not law of attraction. I've never really purposefully practiced the law of attraction, but I guess I do, because I'm always trying to put out as much positive as possible. But for me, it's like a balance. It's a kind of a mixture of the law of attraction and the Tao. If you've never read the Tao, pick up a copy. Everybody should have a copy of the Tao Te Ching, Lao Tzu. But it's just a very practical approach to life. It kind of emulates the way nature flows. And when we're in alignment, I believe, with the law of attraction and with the Tao, it's just like, we're just like letting that, we're into the natural cycle of the world, into nature of being, whatever. And hey, I don't know. I'm not too, I'm, like I say, I was riding in traffic today, and I was thinking, all the things I'm working on in myself and in my life, I probably need at least 2 more lifetimes, if not 3 more lifetimes, after this one, to work through whatever it is I need to work through. But I'll tell you, each day, I'm going to finish it up. This was just a little talk today. This doesn't really have a whole lot of point to it. But each day, I just kind of let go a little bit more. It's all about surrender. I listened to a very good talk today. It was on a different, it was a very, very good talk. No matter, some people don't like him. Russell Brand. He was being interviewed by Rich Roll, and it was an hour and 57-minute podcast. Most brilliant podcast I've ever listened to, I believe. And like, these guys were just, they're talking about it. And Russell Brand, he's really, everybody thinks he can just be silly at times. He's been, he got sober. He's used to be a infamous womanizer. He's monogamous now. Just everything about this man, it's a beautiful thing to watch the way he's grown over these years. And I just got a lot out of that talk. And they were talking about certain things, kind of like being within the flow. Now, his idea of the flow is different than my idea of the flow. That's probably different than your idea of the flow. And you know what? To finish up, it's funny. I post stuff a lot, and I feel bad for them. Well, I want to do that. I'm trying to do that. And life's just chaos. You just, at some point, you have to step out of that chaos and just surrender and just let go. Because when we surrender, or for me, like, all I can talk about is for me, but when I just started surrendering, when I started letting go, and just, tuning into things, life got better. But once again, you gotta read some stuff. If you think this stuff is like some woo-woo stuff, it's very practical applications in there. There's a lot of stuff. If you read the masters from India, there was a lot of science in the yoga over there. There's a lot of science in the law of attraction. But anyhow, just kind of a little bit of a late afternoon babbling by a crazy old dude. Hope you guys enjoyed this one today. If you like it, please give me a thumbs up, and I'll see you tomorrow. Peace.